You know, last night, one of the things that happened on Smackdown Live was Charlotte Flair winning her 8th main roster women's championship, that being the Smackdown Women's Championship, and her 9th overall if you count the NXT Women's Championship along with it. But, with that said, the question everybody has is why? Why did they allow Charlotte to win her 8th championship on the main roster, her 9th overall? Well, there's a reason for that. You see, a lot of fans are speculating, even people on the inside are speculating, that the reason this happened was so that they can unify both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships at WrestleMania in the triple threat match, thus giving more importance than it already has, more legitimacy in a will than it already has. And if that is the case, then I think that's a good idea. I hate to say it, but it is a good idea. Now, true, some people have said that it doesn't make sense because basically, due to the fact that they have over, 25 women, almost 30 women on the main roster across both shows, it basically, essentially, will cause a lot of these women that you would think should have opportunities or have opportunities because of the brand split to be the women's champion on one of the brands. It would cause them to get lost in the shuffle, or would it? You see, one of the things that WWE has been reported on wanting to do is they want to put more emphasis on the tag team division. That possibly means both the Raw, both the men, and the women. And if that's true, they wanted to put more emphasis on the tag team division, then them possibly wanting to unify both belts makes sense because it frees up those women that might get lost in the shuffle to kind of form teams together. And if they form teams, it helps in the long run put some legitimacy into the tag team division again, and makes the tag team titles feel important once more, or as they should have always been, especially the women's tag team titles, if they now have some legitimate tag teams to contend for, while you have these other group of women that some would say are selected group of women vying for the unified women's championship. Now, sorry about that. Now, that's one scenario. The other scenario I'm sure people have talked about and mentioned is the possibility that, to play into the storyline, that Charlotte is better than both Becky and Ronda, that she's willing to pull double duty at WrestleMania and defend the SmackDown Women's Championship in a match, as well as compete for the Raw Women's Championship in the main event. Then, from a storyline perspective, it makes sense because you want to have Charlotte show that she's the more superior athlete over both Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. But there is another reason possibly too. You see, one of the reasons people have stated that, or have reported that WWE has made this a triple threat match, is due to the fact that with the reports that Ronda is planning to leave WWE to go start a family, as well as do some other personal projects outside the company, he needs two women he knows he can depend on to be the focal point of the women's division. And since WWE knows that fans are anticipating Becky Lynch to be Becky Lynch holding the Raw Women's Championship above her head, that, since they anticipate fans expecting that to be the last image they see before WrestleMania fades to black, or at least maybe see the four horsewomen of WWE out there together holding all the gold and showing basically from a legitimacy and a realistic standpoint of how far they've come since their NXT days, with that or Becky holding up the Raw Women's Championship on her own being one of the last images they know fans expect to see and everything, they also realize that if Becky, that with fans expecting Becky to walk out with the Raw Women's title, that essentially on the fly, right then and there, makes Becky a Raw superstar. It transitions her over to the Raw brand. Thus, it opens a door for the Smackdown brand to have a new focal point as far as star power goes for the women's division, and this is where Charlotte would enter. So you could probably expect during the international superstar shakeup for Charlotte to probably remain on SmackDown and Becky to, of course, be on Raw because she's the Raw Women's Champion. You can expect something like that to occur because, like I said, reports are Vince is only doing the triple threat because he knows with Ronda leaving, he wants to have two women he knows he could depend on to always be there as his top faces in the company as far as the women's division goes. And if Becky, as fans, like I said, are anticipating, and WWE knows fans are anticipating this, and with Becky holding the Raw Women's Championship above her head, being one of the last images they know fans want to see before the show ends, then, like I said, that opens the door for Charlotte to stay on SmackDown as the SmackDown Women's Champion, and you give both women something to do afterwards. And then depending on what you do during the international shakeup, like whoever you send where or bring up, it opens the door for new opportunities and new programs for Charlotte and Becky to be involved in. And you wouldn't have to worry about them being on the same show anymore or overshadowing the other because they'd both be on different shows working different programs. That's the other reason I can think that they put the belt on Charlotte. One of the main reasons, in my opinion, is because they want to because with Ronda leaving to do her own thing, create a family and all that, and with them knowing fans are anticipating Becky Lynch to walk out as the Raw Women's Champion, thus transitioning over to the Raw brand, like I said, that leaves the door open for that void that Becky, I should say, is going to leave behind to be filled by Charlotte. So in a sense, you would have two major faces that fans would actually get behind and want to see representing both women's divisions across both brands on the main roster. Becky as the Raw Women's Champion on Monday Night Raw, Charlotte as the SmackDown Women's Champion over on SmackDown Live. Now, again, that could be the other reason. That could be the other legitimate reason. Now, here's the thing. Could I be wrong in that? Possibly. Could we be wrong in it being a unification match that will get announced this week? Possibly. We don't know. Any one of those scenarios will work out, in my opinion. Because like I said, if they go unified wise, it opens the door for a lot of the women that people feel might get lost in the shuffle in that division to come together and form tag teams and help bring legitimacy to the women's tag team titles. That's one possibility. Like I said, that's one possibility. The other is to, storyline-wise, have Charlotte prove that she's better than everybody else by pulling double duty. We don't know. But anyway, either way they do it at WrestleMania, or however it's planned for WrestleMania or afterwards, they have a reason. We may not agree with it, but they have a reason. And the first and third reasons, in my opinion, are the more legitimate. The unification, and if not the unification, and if not unification, then the third reason being to have someone that fans recognize and know and will pay attention to, love or boo, or hate or cheer, over on SmackDown as the face of their division, while one they do want to cheer for and get behind, being the face of the Monday Night Raw Women's division. But again, that's just theory and speculation, but I think the first and third speculations or theories that I came up with and others have come up with are probably the more logical ones, if not the more realistic. So that's all I'm going to say, guys. I got to get into work now. Let me know what you all think down below. Comment if you like. Talk to you all later.